Okay, so as in the last video, we have discussed about the classification of the carbohydrates. So in today's video, we are going to discuss about the uses of the carbohydrates. Alright. So today we will be discussing about the uses of carbohydrates. And we have already discussed about the carbohydrate, what these are basically. Alright. Let me write this a little bit down. Okay. Uses of carbohydrates. Alright. So what's the first use of carbohydrate? We have discussed in very detail what are carbohydrate. We have discussed about classification of the carbohydrates too. Like we have discussed about monosaccharides, oligosaccharides and polysaccharides as well. So now we are going to discuss about the uses of carbohydrate. So first use, they are required as energy for the survival of both plants and animals. Alright. Wait, let me write here. So they are used as an energy alright, for the survival of both animals as well as plants. So let me write this down here. They are used for plants as well as animals. Plants as well as animals. Alright, so we take glucose from the plants, alright, because plants perform the process which is known as photosynthesis. So let me write here about the photosynthesis as well. Alright. Okay, so plants are autotrophs and they use sunlight plus carbon dioxide plus water to synthesize the organic molecule which is glucose. Alright, so here I am writing. Wait, let me make here the plant first. So this is the plant we do have. Alright, here I am making the leaves. Alright, and here I am making a small flower. Wait, let me make the petals of this. So this is a leaf plant we do have. So now what's happening here? Wait, they take carbon dioxide plus water plus they take sunlight as well, and they prepare what? They prepare glucose, and as the waste product they produce oxygen as well. Oxygen. Alright, so see now, these plants are using inorganic molecules because carbon dioxide is inorganic and H2O, which is the water, it is inorganic as well. So these both are inorganic substances, and they are preparing then what? They are preparing organic, because we have already discussed about glucose. Glucose is a monosaccharide and that is a organic substance. So plants are preparing this glucose, alright, and glucose is stored in the plants in form of what? In the form of starch. Alright, so let me write this as well. Let me write this with this color. So glucose is stored in plant's body. In plant's body in form of what? In form of starch. And glucose is stored in our body in the form of glycogen. So let me write that case as well. I am writing that with this color. So glucose is stored in human body in the form of Glycogen. All right. Then we know that when we do have less glucose in our body, then the signals are going to the beta cells of the pancreas. Then beta cells start producing what? Insulin. All right. And insulin then break this chain of glycogen and convert that into glucose, and glucose is circulated then in the body, all right, throughout whole the body. So let me write this as well. Wait. When there is glucose level or sugar level, all right, these both are same, glucose level or sugar level in blood is low, all right, what will be happening? Wait. Okay, let me use another color. Signal would be sent to what? Would be sent to beta cells of the pancreas, or only beta cells in the pancreas, all right, and then this pancreas will produce what? Then this pancreas will produce a substance which is known as insulin, all right, insulin. And insulin then will do what? Insulin will break this glycogen into glucose, or will this convert this glycogen into glucose. So wait, glycogen then would be converted into what? It would be converted into glucose then. And then this glucose will be ultimately sent throughout the body or circulated throughout the body, all right. But if we do have glucose concentration in the blood is high, then what will be happening? All right, then the signal will be gone to the alpha cells, and alpha cells will produce the glucagon. All right, then that glucagon will be converting this glucose into glycogen. All right, because in the blood already the concentration of the glucose is very high, so we don't want any more or any other sugar in the blood now. So then that glucose will be converted into glycogen. Again, if we'll need the glucose level, or glucose level would be high, low in the body, and we will need the glucose, then what will be happening? That glycogen will be converted into glucose again by the help of insulin. Alright, so here are two factors, glucagon and insulin. Insulin is converting glycogen into glucose where there is glucose level low in the body, and when there is glucose level high in the body, then glucagon is released from the alpha cells, and that glucagon is converting this glucose into glycogen. Alright, I hope this is clear. So this leads us to the second use of the carbohydrate, which is it keep our blood sugar level in check. All right, it takes us to the second use, which is it keep our blood sugar checkup. All right, check in level in check, and we have checked that how it does happen. All right, I have taught you guys how like insulin and glucagon is working. All right, they both are working, how they are working. So this was the second use. What's the third use? They sustain structure of the plant. All right, so by using carbohydrates we can sustain the structure of plant as well. So here I'm writing, they sustain structure of plant. Third use we have studied, they sustain structure of the plants. Now what's the fourth use? Alright, fourth use is like carbohydrate fiber helps in cholesterol reduction. Like if we do have fat in our body, so carbohydrates will do what? Carbohydrates fiber will help us in cholesterol reduction and blood pressure regulation. We have checked about blood pressure regulation. We have not checked about blood pressure. We have talked about sugar level. So it does what? Carbohydrate fiber helps in cholesterol reduction and blood pressure regulation. Alright, this was the fourth one. And fifth one, we have already discussed that plants store glucose in the form of starch and animals store glucose in the form of glycogen. Alright, so this was all for today, as we have discussed about the uses of carbohydrates today. In the next video, we'll be talking about the protein and how protein is made. Like we know that protein is made up of amino acids, the long chain of amino acids, and there is a peptide bond between those amino acids. So we'll be talking about that all right, in very detail. So this was all for today.